our moderator is usually me and my colleague, Miss Azet. But today we have new moderator. Her name is Novita, and she will be our moderator today. Okay, we still I'm sorry, before we, it's already the time, but Mr. Joseph still have a technician problem, so could you wait? I'm sorry.
We can wait for a while for.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor.
No problem.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor. I will read some of the comment on the chat room. As usual, we have the audience from all Indonesia, from all the Indonesian part. So, could you guys tell where you're from, like from in the chat, so that we have something to just take time a little bit.
We are waiting for ending the pandemic to come Indonesia.
Yes, we would love. We will wait for that. Yes, we.
Welcome you. Come to Indonesia.
Thank you.
How is the COVID-19 in your country, Professor?
It's better now. In summer days, it's getting better, and now we have the vaccine, and most of the people started to get these vaccines. So we feel better, but still we have some problems with this pandemic, but we will get over soon.
Did you get vaccinated also?
Pardon?
Did you get yourself vaccinated?
Yes, I have vaccinated the first dose, and next dose will be in July. So the second dose, after the second dose, I feel much better.
Much better, yeah.
Yes.
Let's hope that we have a chance to remove our face mask, yeah, when we have to go travel outside our home.
So this is interesting because it's spreading also with this some other type of viruses like Delta or something else. So it's still dangerous. So we should be very careful for ourselves. So everybody should in the world.
Yes, we are excited to see that time come, that all this pandemic would be end soon, we hope.
Oh,
and
yes.
Okay, I think we all ready. I have checked that everyone is ready. Okay, so I'm going to open the event. Okay. So Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. God bless all of us. Welcome to International Webinar, Business, Finance, Management, and Work Life After COVID-19. This event is presented by University of Science and Computer Technology, or STEKOM University, in collaboration with Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, or ATIC, Indonesian Teacher Association, or IGI, Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association, or IGVIM, Doğuş University from Turkey, and Free International University of Moldova from Moldova. To start this event in a good mood and run smoothly, I would love for us to pray first according to your own belief and religion. So let's pray, start. Amen. Pray finish. For today's schedule, my colleague, Ms. Novita, will tell you all the details. So Ms. Novita, the time is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we start opening for another speech, I would love to tell you about webinar international schedule. First, we're going to listen Indonesian national anthems. Then we have speaker from Dr. Joseph University from STEKOM University. And next speaker, we have Dr. Gribincea Corina from Free International University of Moldova. And the next, we have Mrs. Ratih Yuni Arman from STEKOM University Indonesia. And the next, we have Mr. Mampuono from Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association. And the last, we have Dr. Gonca from Doğuş University, Turkey. Yeah. At the end, we have Q&A session for our audience. For our audience, can write all the questions in room chat, or if you want to ask, you can raise your hand. At the last session is closing. Now we will listen Indonesian national anthem. So, Mr. Solikan, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Solihan. For the next session, we have the opening speech from our own rector, Dr. Joseph Teguh Santoso, who is also the head of Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association in Industrial Strategic Partnership. So, Dr. Joseph, the time is yours.
Yes. Can you hear my son?
Yes.
Hello, Professor. Professor Gonca. Long time no see, right? It's very happy and very nice to see you again. Yes. I hope you enjoy this situation. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
I hope you also keep healthy, right? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the other speaker? How about the other speaker? Orang satunya mana? Belum. And okay. Dr. Corina, hi. Nice to see you.
Thank
you
you
very
Me too.
much. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Good afternoon, the honorable our speakers today, Mr. Mampuono, as a Vice Chairman of Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, founder and honor council of IGI, and Ratih
Good
Yuni
afternoon.
Arman. Yes. Hello, Mr. Mampuono.
Yeah, thank you.
And Ms. Ratih Yuni Arman as a lecturer of STEKOM University, and Ms. Gribincea Corina, PhD from Free International University of Moldova, and Professor Dr. Gonca Yamamoto as acting dean of Faculty of Economics and Administrative Science, Doğuş University, Turkey. Ladies and gentlemen, may I first take this occasion to pay tribute to all of the audience of this international webinar with the title Business Finance Management and Work-Life After COVID-19, held by Universitas Sains and Teknologi Komputer, or STEKOM University, in collaboration with Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association, or ATIC, and Indonesian Teacher Association, or IGI, and Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association, or IGVIM. Doğuş University, Turkey, and Free International University of Moldova. It is a great pleasure and an honor for me to deliver these welcome remarks at the opening of this international webinar. May I first take this opportunity to express my gratitude and appreciation, as well as extend a cordial welcome to all the audience, in particular all the speakers of today's event. Ladies and gentlemen, in this webinar, besides as a rector of STEKOM University, I also as head of IGVIM, Industrial Strategic Partnership, or Advanced Indonesian Vocational Teacher Association, I would like to give some information in this occasion. As we know that it has been almost 3 years, we are fighting with the COVID-19 virus. These situations affect all sides of our life. One of them is in business. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused significant difficulties for business environment globally. The lockdown measures and reduction in mobility have created many obstacles within the supply chain and have threatened the continuity of all companies' activities. On a broad range of types of entities, from listed company to small and medium-sized enterprise, it is no doubt that business and work life will not be the same after the pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said just now, that everything will not the same after pandemic, including business and also work life. One of the change that we will see after the pandemic is the increasing of the use of automation and AI, with companies having to continue operation with a few people as possible. Then they are being forced to find alternative ways to achieve this. In that line, the use of automation process and algorithms are rapidly accelerating. The world is at a place that futuristic and has warned that job will be replaced by automation. Business are now working towards automating repetitive jobs, such as administrative tasks, and robots are taking over manufacturing. Whether or not this will cause unemployment is yet to be seen, but there will be a massive need for retraining and learning new skills once the pandemic is over. Ladies and gentlemen, besides in business, COVID-19 also impacts the quality of life is work-life balance. Work-life balance itself has long been a concern of researchers because it is related to well-being and mental health. Work-life balance is the same degree of individual satisfaction when undergoing various roles related to work and life at home. Individuals who can develop work-life balance usually have good communication with family during work, including time management and self-care abilities. These things certainly minimize conflict and pressure and help achieve a quality of life. Ladies and gentlemen, in working life, change to employee planning, management, experience, and performance, all on the irresistible expansion of remote working. The mass COVID-19 remote work experiment has shown company that certain business function can be sustained remotely long term. It has also provided a taste of the potential cost saving and cultural benefits of a distributed model. While it hasn't been a universally positive experience, many employees have adapted well to remote working in a lockdown situation. In a research from McKinsey reporting that 80% of the participants enjoy working from home and 41% found themselves to be more productive. Many are now keen to secure long-term remote work opportunities with 98% of people from one recent survey expressing a desire to continue remote work in some capacity for the rest of their career. So it can predict that about 50% of the employee will likely work remotely at least part of the time after COVID-19. Whether your company plans to offer a plan of remote working in an office day or a full remote outfit, you need to develop the infrastructure to enable it, from technology and recruitment to policy and culture. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this webinar will open our eyes about how we face after this pandemic in business and working lifestyle. Adaptable is the key for facing life after pandemic. We must adapt every changing that will happen. To conclude, I would like to extend my appreciation to the International Affairs Organization of STEKOM University for making this international webinar. And finally, I wish you to enjoy the webinar today. Let's pray. Our effort remains in the blessing of God Almighty. Amen. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for Mr. Jos. And the next session is opening speech by Dr. Gribincea Corina as Rector from Free International University of Moldova. So, Mrs. Gribincea, time is yours.
Good morning one more time, and thank you very much for the invitation. I'm very delighted and I'm honored to participate at this huge international webinar. And of course, we are from Moldova. It's Eastern Europe, if somebody knows where we are, very small country. So please let me say my gratitude for this great event and good organizations. Please let me try to start my presentation. It will be, I hope, in time. And I hope for strong collaboration between our institutions, of course. Please let me know if you see my presentation.
Yes, we can see it, Doctor.
Okay, thank you. So today I would like to talk about why we have or why we still need financial management and why it's so important for Moldovan SMEs. As a structure of my presentation, I would like to talk about the principles of financial management, causes of financial failure, and of course about the financial management of SMEs, the business environment that we have in Moldova. Also, we'll talk about the main sources of finance for the SMEs. Of course, we'll relate with the economic impact of COVID-19 on the Moldovan businesses, and of course, the role and importance of financial services for SMEs growth. And the last one will be the sources of external finance for the SMEs. However, I would like to show you the map who shows us where is Moldova in the Eastern Europe. So you can see it's the neighboring countries are the Romania and also Ukraine. So if we talk about the introduction, so why we still need the financial management. So many people who start to run a business do not engage themselves in the financial matters. So here, if we're talking about the reason why may cause it's because we have enough knowledge or maybe interest in recording transactions or preparation and analysis of financial statements. And of course, the secondary that they are extremely involved. And of course, in the aspects of business like managing people or maybe sales, purchasing or productions. And these type of entrepreneurs rely on their accounts to run the financial side of their businesses. About the literature review, so very short about it. Here, the literature on small firms financial management is very broad and it draws upon different aspects of firm life. The initial interest of research of SMEs, bankruptcies and default risk also has heightened to studies investigating capital budgeting and also development and growth models of small businesses and relationship between default behaviors of SMEs and also the credit facets their own owners. Of course, when we're talking about the main idea of the definitions, of course, what does it mean in general, financial management? So it's the management of finances of a business in order to achieve the financial objectives of the business. And we have here in the slide, I was mentioning 3 authors that interpreted financial management. Like, for example, it's the function concerned with raising the funds needed to finance the enterprise's assets and activities, the allocation of these scarce funds between competing users, and ensuring that the funds are used effectively and also efficiently in achieving the enterprise goals. Or another definition that says that it's concerned with the planning, budgeting and control techniques. And the last one, it's related with that it says, for example, the last offer, but it's including managerial activities that concern the acquisition of financial resources and also the assurance of the effective and efficient use to ensure a positive cash flow. So if we talk about the 5 principles of financial management, so firstly, it's about the financial planning, of course, it's about the financial accounting, financial analysis, also management accounting, and the last one, it's about the capital budgeting. So also we are finding in the literature that some include working capital as the key financial management practice. So we have different views concerning the principles of financial management. So let me see what are the causes of financial failure in general. So if we're talking about the small firms financial management, it's quite voluminous, and of course it concentrates on different aspects of firm management. And of course, what are the causes of financial failure? So firstly, it's about the prediction of financial failure. It's about the involuntary liquidation and also the default behaviors of SMEs and the credit characteristics of their owners. Of course, we need to understand about the fact that the financial management is a critical element when we are talking about the business as a whole, and within this function, the management of its assets is perhaps for the most important. And of course, if we're talking about the long term, the purchase of assets, and of course directs the course that the business will take during the life of these assets, but the business will never see the long term if it cannot plan an appropriate policy to effectively manage its working capital. And in effect, the poor financial management of owners, managers, or for example, the lack of financial management altogether, it's the main cause underlying the problems of SMEs financial management. And of course, a great many small business fail not because, for example, we have the owners but does a poor job, or for example, it provides an inferior service, but because their firm is not run like a business. So this is the most of the cases of a problem. Most small business people only know one half of, for example, of what it takes to succeed. And apart, they are missing is how, for example, to manage, or for example, to grow their business. And of course, the small business owners that succeed in this part learn these issues while working, or for example, they already have the knowledge. And please let me say something about the growth and development of SMEs. So we have some studies that are including the small enterprise growth and development. And of course, we have some studies that are related with the establishment of theoretical sound and empirically validated explanation of small and also the medium-sized enterprises growth to serve as broad conceptual framework for research and also policy making regarding the business growth phenomenon. And of course, after critical appraisal of recent research in this field, of course, it says that we need to reconsider, and we should give in this case, a conceptual, for example, framework that represents the SME's growth as a series of stages of development through which the business may pass as an enterprise life cycle. And of course, we have another, we'll say, idea about the growth. It's about the development model of family business. So it's very also characteristics for the Moldovan economy. So in the literature, we can find it as concentrated on the family business, and also it contributes to the literature stream by providing the first empirical test of the development model for the family business. For example, we have different studies provided by such authors as David or Hampton or Landsberg, but also focus their studies in this research. And also why it's so important, for example, to understand the studies on capital structure. For example, if we are talking about the capital structure, the studies of level of debt of SMEs, firstly, we are looking at the financial structure, mainly on the SMEs, using qualitative methods on the panel data. For the, if we are talking, for example, on the at the national level about the SMEs. Also, we must admit that the financial panel data that we are using, for example, when we are talking about the level of debt, of course, it's related with the investigation of the capital structure on the small and also medium-sized enterprises. And if we are talking about the different capital structure theories, here we need to understand and we need to formulate testable proportions concerning the levels of debt in small businesses, and also as a number of regression models that we can also use when we analyze it. Also, if we are talking about the results, what we can get from this. So most of the determinants of capital structure presented in the theory of finance appear to be relevant for the small businesses sector. And we're talking mainly on the size, for example, age or profitability of the growth and future growth opportunities, operating risks, asset structure, stock turnover, and many others. So this is why it's so important to focus our research on these directions. Also, when we're talking about the studies on working capital management, for example, we have different studies on the investment appraisal and working capital practices that are saying that we can research the capital budgeting and working capital practices of small firms. For example, we are talking about the financial management practices when we can use sample of small firms located in the, for example, in different countries. And of course, we need to understand that here, when we're talking about, for example, about the high proportion of small firms, of course, we can use quantitative capital budgeting and also working capital techniques to review, for example, different aspects of their company's working capital. When we are talking about the effects of working capital management, for example, of SMEs profitability, in this case, we can also provide empirical evidence on the effects of working capital management on the profitability of, for example, of small or medium-sized enterprises. And of course, many studies demonstrate here that the managers can create value by reducing their inventories and the number of days for which their accounts are outstanding. And moreover, we can shorten the cash conversion cycle also by improving the firm's profitability in this case. So when we are talking about the issues, for example, of working capital management on, for example, trade credit, so here we need to understand that we have a strong homogeneity in the factors that are determining, for example, the trade credit, if we are talking, for example, on the European countries. And on the other hand, the firms with greater capacity to obtain resources from the capital markets and more cheaply grant, for example, or trade credit to their customers. Moreover, we have some results of that we can support the price discrimination theories, and also we can find that the firms here react by increasing the credit they grant in the attempt to stem failing sales. About the working capital management and profitability of the SMEs, we can analyze the relation between the working capital management and profitability of small and medium-sized enterprises in different countries by controlling the unobservable heterogeneity and possible heterogeneity. So here we can use, for example, nonlinear relation between the two, for example, variables, if we analyze it, and have some non-monolithic relationship between the working capital level and firm profitability. And in this case, the SMEs indicates that they have an optimal working capital level that maximize their profitability. And of course, in addition, we have a robustness check of our favor results that can be confirmed by firms' profitability, that they move away from their optimal level. So if we are talking about the financial management of SMEs in the Eastern Europe, so here we have a really interesting study of Clapper. And he says that understanding firms' access to finance, particularly in the financing of small and medium-sized enterprises. So here he is looking on the financing patterns of SMEs across countries that are are not well understood. And if we're talking about the summary statistics, it shows that the size of SME sector, as for example, we can measure by the percentage of total employment in the Eastern Europe countries, it's smaller than in the most developed countries, economies. And we can also mention that the SMEs seems to constitute the most dynamic sector in the Eastern Europe economies relative to the large firms. And of course, in general, the SME sector comprises relatively young, for example, even in the Republic of Moldova, and the more highly leveraged, the more profitable and faster growing firms we have. And what does it mean, or what does it suggest? It suggests a new type of firm that it's emerging in the transitional economies, but it's more market and profit oriented. So here, however, these firms appear to have financial constraints that impede their access to the long-term financial and ability to grow at the same time. So although we find in the almost, for example, every country a large number of SMEs as a percentage of the total firms, where the SMEs in Eastern Europe are generally small and hire few employees. So this is the main characteristics of the SMEs from Europe. And in the next slide, I would like to present you some, as a general overview, some macroeconomic indicators for the Republic of Moldova. So we have the GDP growth in dynamics, so you can see that it's slowing down. And of course, we have the inflation, so you can see the range between 3.1. And also what's really interesting for you to see the export of goods, for example, and services, or the imports of goods and services. So it's around, if we're talking about the exports, so it's about 30.4, and about the imports, it's about 56.3. So you can see that we're importing more than we are exporting. Further, I wanted to, as a quick look, to have a look on the national public budget of the Republic of Moldova, and you can see that our national public budget, so it's based on the central budget and also local budgets. And of course, I didn't have time to translate it into English because I just adjusted in the morning my presentation. So I just talk and I will explain. So we have the state budget, we have different other budgets, and also at the territorial level. And of course, with the decentralization reform that we had a few years ago, so we are talking that the administrative territories that we have in the Republic of Moldova, so they have their own budgets, and they can also use their own resources. They are not depending no more on the central budgeting from Republic of Moldova. And of course, you can see in the have a figure of the revenue structure in the national budgeting. And you can see that we have a huge share on the state budget. So we also have some budget of the social insurance, medical insurance, and local budgets. They are not the smallest one, but they are very small. So we don't have a lot of funds to give them. Also, if we are looking at the, for example, as a percentage, so we have a state budget, it's around 43%. The social budget, it's about 27%. The medical one, it's 10%. And the local budget, it's around 20%. And in the right corner, you can see the dynamics of public revenues and expenditure. And you can see how it's, we'll say, growing. The revenues and also the expenditures during the 2020s. And also we can see the structure of expenditure in the period of also COVID. So we are giving a lot of money on the social protection and also on the education, as you can see at the second indicator here. Also, if we're talking about the ratings of Moldovan banks, so we are diminishing in general the banks in the Republic of Moldova in order to consolidate better them. So we have in present 11 banks that we have, and also the ratings. So the most important one is M.Kom Bank, and the second one is Agrowin Bank. So the main one, and also the others, they also have some really good credit and also portfolios that are sharing in the Republic of Moldova. And you can see in the table the name of banks and also the share of the total actives as a percentage. So you can see biggest banks, so it's Agrowin Bank, Victoria Bank, M.Kom Bank, and Mobias Bank. As medium banks, we have Exim Bank and another 4, and small one is the last one. So you can see as in the table the share of actives. We also have the share of the credit values, and also we see the share of the deposits in this table. So,
Doctor?
yeah.
I'm sorry, but you have 10 to 15 minutes left. So
okay, thank you. So I will be very short then.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, I have a lot of information to share with you, so that's why I'm just very focused on my information. So if we are talking about the business environment trends, so Moldova here advanced the implementation of the SMEs development strategy, removing redundant bureaucratic requirements on enterprises, expanding, for example, electronic government services, and implementing programs to elevate barriers to doing business. So this is very important in order to move on with this. Also, I wanted to share with you the emerging market and developing economies. So we're talking about the real GDP, and you can see as a comparison the Indonesia in the table, and you can see the Moldova. So I will not focus too much on it, but you can see with the red line, so all the values, and you can compare these two countries. And also I did it for the emerging market and developing countries like consumer prices. So the same analysis for the Indonesia and Moldova. Also the current account balance as a percentage of the GDP. And if we are talking, for example, of the classification, as it's very important, of the SMEs in the Republic of Moldova. So we have micro, small, and medium enterprises, and you can see from the slide, in order to imagine how bigger we have, what does it mean, for example, SME is small in Moldova. So we have this table with the values. If you are talking, for example, the SMEs that are defined according to the turnover, so we have some, we'll say, findings about the SMEs. So I will just say very short about that. The SMEs increase standards of living, reduce poverty, and augment the value of labor force. And of course, why we're talking in general on the SMEs, because they have a bigger share in our Moldovan economy. And we have some basic figures here about the SMEs. So we have, as a general, for example, if we're talking as a comparison between Moldova and the European Union, so we have the numbers and the share of the small, micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So you can see from the table. And of course, I will provide further my presentation, who will that you can share with the audience. Also, I provided the business demography indicators of Moldova, some sectoral distribution of SMEs in Republic of Moldova, and also I wanted to strengthen my presentation on the policy indexes scores for Moldova, and we have really interesting values here about the policy index scores in comparison, or we have the implementation progress of SMEs policy index. So what types of reforms we did in order to improve, for example, the policy. Also some SB's performance of Moldova, some principles, but I will focus more on the fact that what are the main sources, for example, finance for SMEs in Republic of Moldova. So we have the three sources. We have primary sources, secondary, and alternative sources. So as general information, and of course, why it's so important, for example, to see the impact of COVID-19 on the SMEs from Republic of Moldova. So mainly, if you see that from the figure 1, for example, IT and non-banking lending recorded the decrease. The other sectors, they increased during the pandemic. And also you can see the income dynamics of interviewed Moldovan companies, for example, during the pandemic period. So you can see that we have just the diminishing of values that are more than 50% here. So it registered out 40%. And if we are talking, for example, about the factors that negatively affect the activity of Moldovan companies, so mainly they were used on the pharmaceutics, transport, and creative industry. And you can see it's around 77%. And if we are talking about the 66%, it was focused on the telecommunications, the tourism, and others. And 56%, it was mainly focused on the non-banking accreditation, pharmaceutics, and also textile industry. And also really interesting figure, it's about the industries that have been significantly, or for example, absolutely impacted by the diminishing demand for the products during the COVID period. And you can see from the slide different industries. So mainly it was about the telecommunication, insurance, and also the tourism. It was affected a lot. Some figures about the measures that were implemented by the companies in order to mitigate the economic impact of pandemic, and also if we are talking, I don't have too much time, yeah. So I will just go to the conclusions. As the SMEs play a crucial role in modern economies, so we are creating jobs, generating economic growth, and advancing innovations. And of course, in the Republic of Moldova, the access to finance is a major obstacle for the SME sector. So the SMEs obtain finance from a variety of sources, with bank financing being the most important one. And also, if we're talking about the banks, they are concentrated in urban centers of SMEs located outside the larger cities, and they're having poor access to the banking institutions. And also the last one is about that we have a lack of legal legal framework for enforcing quick recovery of default, and also about the loans, but it's also another barrier. So the banking sectors needs still to find solutions to help determine the credit risk and lower the cost of dealing with the SMEs factor. So it's likely that we have the access to finance for SMEs, and they will be improved as a relatively young non-banking financial sector, but it matures. So thank you very much one more time, and I hope to receive some questions maybe, and we can interact.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gribincea. Yeah, for your information, your presentation are amazing. Yeah, next session we have speaker from Mrs. Ratih Yuni Arman as lecturer from STEKOM University. So, Mrs. Ratih, time is yours.
Mikrofonnya unmute.
Okay, can you hear my voice now? Can you hear my voice now, audience? Yes, I bet you are, yeah? Okay, thank you. It's been a privilege for me to be here around with people for having this international webinar talking about finance, business management, and local life after COVID-19. Okay, I would like to remind you about the COVID-19, that it was first found in Wuhan, China in 2019. It is a health problem, yeah, but it is spread out and affected our life aspects, our other life aspects. You can mention it, you can say it is our business, it is, of course, it is our health care, it is our education life, education aspect, economy, like the previous speaker said, industrial, mental health, physical, etc. And there are many aspects of our life affected by this COVID-19. Okay, and what about our work life then? as we are discussing in this international university. Okay, let's start talking about our work life after COVID-19 happened. Okay. See, I would like to remind you about what we have before the COVID-19. We return to our office, we can get around with our friends. And local culture in Indonesia, people bring food to eat something together with our relatives, our office mates, or maybe you can just eat something, drink something at the cafe, or maybe having dinner together, lunch together, and go out after that, maybe doing some sport together. Yeah, that before COVID-19, yeah, physical contact is all. And then we do work by the hour. Usually it's for 8 to 5 or 8 to 9 to 5. The things from the morning until the afternoon, people are going around to the workyard and do the task by the hour. And you remember that our company just organized our debt so the manager can see us, can see our productivity, whether we are doing our job or not. Yeah, that's the funny things to remember. Yeah, it's a good thing. And when the internet applied, and when the internet, sorry, slight problem. And when the internet applied in the work, yeah, it was found maybe like in 1990, yeah. And then it is start to spread out in 1995, and then until now, when the internet applied, actually we can do things, we can do our work in everywhere, right? But instead of doing that, we still go into our office and do our tasks by the hour. Again, from 8 to 5 or to 4. And only change we can feel very comfortable enough to do our tasks, to accelerate our productivity while we were in the office using internet. And nonetheless, that the HR manager or the leader in the company are very easy just to build a teamwork. Of course, since we met in person, right? We can see each other. The leader, the HR, just can summon 1 or 2 or 3 or many persons just to sit in a room discussing something, build a team, create a team to achieve the goal that has been settled before. Yeah, that's before the COVID-19 happens to us. So I think it is a nice memory to remember. Yeah, I hope that we are going to have it soon after this COVID-19. And what about our life after the COVID-19 happens to us? You see, it is sorry to say thousands of jobless employees, but many people lost their jobs. We lose our office mates, we lose our friends, our relatives. It's like we are working alone. See? And then work from home or shifting with flexible working hours being one of the solution that the economic still going on in having a good result as sorry, there's a slight interruption. And after the yeah, okay, I will repeat the explanation. After the COVID-19 happened to us, yeah, work from home and shifting with flexible working hours is applied with the company. Firstly, workers are confusing about working from home or flexible working hours. What the government wants by work from home is that we do our job, our task at home. We cannot just go here and there and do our job. It is very different with the flexible working hours. Flexible working hours refers to do our job anywhere we want, anytime we want. But okay, and then there is no physical contact is allowed. Yeah, we cannot shake hands, we cannot hug our friend, we cannot just sitting around together. No. In this after COVID-19, in our work life, social distancing is applied. We have to maintain our distance with our friends. Okay, just look so spacey, look so quiet. We cannot just make a joke with our friends. You see, maybe the one who is experiencing working at home now, feeling what I'm telling you now. And whether you are noticed or not, face mask and hand sanitizer will be our daily basic need. We carry them out everywhere. We have maybe 2 or 3 face masks every day, and we have a little bottle of hand sanitizer carry everywhere we want, everywhere we do. And because it is a need, it is something that we need to ask to prevent from the dangers of the COVID-19. And we are noticed that internet is supplied years ago, right? Like I told you before. But after this COVID-19, the uses of technology and internet is just maximized today. After this COVID-19, we're maximizing the use of internet and technology. So we can do things, mailing, phone, Zoom activity, video call, robotic things are changed. Things are replaced by technology. You see, do you agree with me that internet is accelerating everything today, that we can maximize the use of internet today? Yet it is found in 1990, right? But it is maximized back today, after we have sadly the COVID-19. And since we are playing the work from home, the productivity might less than the target. Of course, we cannot meet our friends to do the job. We cannot just coordinate. We cannot just talk to solve the problem directly. We need connection. We need time. We have to recognize whether our friend at home, does he or she have time to meet together at exact time to talk about our obstacle while we are focusing on target. And now we have our work life post COVID-19. See, as I mentioned before, the work from home and shifting is applied to overcome the social distancing applied by the government. It calls hybrid work model combination. The hybrid work model combination, it is a combination between the work from home and shifting, and yet it is still rich.
Enggak. saya cover dulu. Okay, seems like Mrs. Ratih have some technician problem. So, okay. Okay, so I think let me. Yeah. Okay, so I think we should wait a few seconds. If she's not, if it's getting better, then we can continue. If it's not, then we should go to Mr. Mampu first, then we're back to Mrs. Ratih if it's not getting better. So I would have to, okay, wait a second. Okay, so everyone, it seems like, okay, Mrs. Ratih will reboot her computer, I'm sorry, the Zoom, and we will see how it will goes. Let me confirm with Mrs. Ratih. Okay, so or should we go to Mr. Mampu first? Okay.
Mbak, itu yang profesor siapa itu kan sudah menunggu. Mending saya agak belakang, enggak apa-apa.
Okay. Should we go to Professor Gonca first, or okay? So Mr. Mampu want to go. Okay. Hello, Professor Gonca. Yes, it seems like we have Mrs. Ratih have some.
If there is a problem, maybe I will start my presentation. Later on, she can just finish her presentation because it's quite similar things we were mentioning. So it's better to follow my presentation. I think it will be quite easier. What do you think?
Okay, if you are all right with that, then
I'm okay. I'm okay. No problem.
Okay, then. So okay, then, Professor. Okay, then we get. Okay, we can go to. Okay, you may start. Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much. Hello, dear Rector, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I would like to introduce myself briefly before I make a presentation about what changes have occurred in business life after COVID-19 and what can be done. My name is Gonca. Some of you know me. My name is Gonca. I'm the Dean of Doğuş University, Faculty of Economics and Administrative Sciences. I'm a professor of marketing, and I worked several different universities, and I have become founder of several departments. Meanwhile, I have also founded distance education centers of Okan University and Maltepe University in Istanbul. So I'm one of the thought leaders of e-learning and digital transformation in Turkey, and I think now in the world. So I'm also concerned with the wider implications of evolving information society. After publishing more than 20 books and 100 articles, I stopped counting. So today I'm here with all of you, and I'm so glad to be in this event. So prior to my speech, I would like to thank STEKOM University and Rector Dr. Joseph. And I am so happy to give a speech one more time to the audience from several places from Indonesia. And welcome to all of you to my speech. I would like to start my talk by asking a few questions. So my first question is, what kind of obligations has COVID-19 brought to business life in terms of home office, merchandising, and production conditions? So when we look at the obligations for working at home, as Mrs. Ratih was also mentioning about these issues, such as operation of social distance rules, the creation of conditions for working from home and meeting from home, the ban on going abroad, the supply of necessary in infrastructure and equipment for working at home, and the establishment of business rules for working at home come to my mind. And on the retail side, issues such as the increase in grocery and similar retail sales, the excessive acceleration of digitalization of stores and markets, the consumer's expectation of fast service, the consumer's desire for the product quality they see on the website or mobile came to the fore. On the production side, depending on what it is produced, for example, for food and health products, issues such as hygiene and reliability, occupational health and safety in terms of doing business, taking precautions as an institutional or departmental working gradually or shifted, and as seen in all other business environments, digitization has come into play. Then let's see how the business life will be when the pandemic conditions are over. Will everything be as before? It is possible to give a very clear answer. No, it won't. Because many companies are already working from home, as Dr. Joseph mentioned. Nothing will ever be the same as it was in the past. So in order to adapt all this change, it is possible to present the necessity of developing new approaches, ways of doing business, new market orders, transactions and systems, new capabilities, and digitalization as a recipe. So these all things should be done. So I want to ask you a second question. What are the things you want to do immediately after pandemic is over? I am immediately considering an international trip, maybe to Indonesia. Some may be thinking of visiting family, some visiting neighbors, and some thinking of something else. So these thoughts will also be reflected in business life. Here, you can see the changing of nature of work. These considerations will affect really the nature of the working life. For example, gig economy, e-marketplaces, e-markets, the digitalization of marketing, the creation of new global labor market online, the change in consumer behavior and the understanding of the environmentalism and started to gain importance even before COVID-19. While this change mainly enables remote working, it requires 24/7 work, that is manpower, including digital work environment, home office styles and designs, remote work tools, and digital structure, as Mrs. Ratih also mentioned. So let's take a look at the new service areas affected by digital transformation before COVID-19. There were many topics such as security, logistics, tracking systems, clean nature efforts, payments systems, health systems, among them. So these were all before COVID. In the aftermath of COVID-19, business styles and sectors such as do-it-yourself, creative decoration, tourist guidance, psychological support, project-based work, short-term work, as I mentioned, gig economy, some of which have existed for a long time, but are not in the foreground, have come to the fore. So these organic farming, fast package, fast delivery also have a lot of importance after Corona, after COVID-19. So it is possible to see the expectation of polarization in employment in the near term, because while digitalization brings new dimensions to business life, new ways of doing business, new talents, and the use of technology, it is likely that there will be sharp declines in some business. It's the same, some people will lose their business, but some people will gain a lot of money. So another issue that needs to be considered here is the elimination of the digital talent gap, because the deficiency can lead to a decrease in efficiency, an increase in the wages of employees with this talent, a decrease in growth rate, a lack of competitive advantage, or an inability to adapt to new technologies. So finally, how is this resolved? How can we manage this situation? So it can be solved by striving to be more digital, developing and supporting new talents in line with the new structures, establishing rules that will create assurance for employees in new work conditions, thinking from global perspective by experiencing new technologies in all areas of business life, and most importantly, working hard to adapt to these changes. So thank you all so much for your patience. And if you have any questions, I can also take some of your questions. And thank you for listening. Are you there?
Yes.
Are you there?
Yes. There.
If you have any questions, you can also ask your questions.
Okay. Seconds. Because the poor connection from the Ratih, we will give some time for Ms. Ratih for give the conclusion, maybe. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm sorry for the delay. It is a slight problem that we don't have to worry about. And then I will tell you that the work life after the post office is post-COVID is not so hard actually for us to live on. And before I read my conclusion, that I would like to tell you about the local culture that Indonesians have to help to cope the COVID-19. That maybe will bring good, will bring like a good idea to cope with this problem, the COVID problem. First, that we apply the Joko Tonggo here, in Indonesia. It means that the neighbor take care of our neighbor who just get infected by the COVID-19. Why it is bring good for our work life? Because when we have someone in our home who just get sick of COVID-19, we must feel worried about it, right? But when our neighbor support our relative, our family who got sick by Joko Tonggo, they send food, they send raw material to cook at home. Yeah, it will bring for us, we will set psychologically calm, and we can be more productive while we work. Even we are get shifting or working outside the house that as a place for the isolated. And then we have this traditional medicine, for the Indonesian traditional medicine will also help to have our work life back before we had COVID. Everybody knows it, and maybe our other speaker can try it too at home. Mrs. Corina, Mr. Gonca, Pak Mampuono, I believe you have practiced this this medicine at home, yeah, and just also. It is the combination between eucalyptus, maybe ginger, honey, lemon, lemongrass, cinnamon, clove, and etc. Yes, it is a local culture that will help to cope to recover from this pandemic in order to bring back our work life, in order to be better before COVID-19 happens to us. As a conclusion, I believe, and so am I, everybody in the world, we want to go back to our work life before COVID-19. And of course, applying good things from our invention after COVID happened to us, such as applying healthy life, maximizing the internet and technology, and etc. But until that time is happening, that still remains a question. While trying to make it happen, we are together with all the people around the world, need to eagerly productive in order not only to find the cure of the COVID-19, but also to be productive, more productive while we are in home as a work from home applied or shifting applied, so that we still have our good work life, we still reach our productivity even better, much better, even though we have COVID-19 pandemic and still not over yet. I will pray, we all pray, we all want that COVID-19 is soon to be over. I would like to meet Mrs. Gonca, Mrs. Corina in person after this COVID ends. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your information, Mrs. Ratih. So, for the last speaker, we have Mr. Mampuono from Smart Indonesian Teacherpreneur Association. So, Mr. Mampuono, the time is yours.
Well then, Mas Solehan, would you please take my other account to be one of the co-hosts so that I can share my presentation using my laptop, not in my mobile phone, because I just joined with the mobile phone and also the laptop.
Okay.
The name of the channel is Mampuono.
Okay, sudah.
I'll try to find the PowerPoint, but wait a minute. Oh, well then, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Rector of the University of STEKOM, the Honorable, all the speakers from Indonesia and also from Turkey and Moldova, and the moderator and the co-moderator, and all the participants, especially teacher lecturers and other society members in this very global community. Thank you very much for giving me the chance to be a speaker here. I'm not in a very well condition, but I'm trying to be perform better. I'm really sure that I just caught a fever, not a COVID-19, but it is just a normal flu, something like that. Yeah. Okay, Mbak Anissa, how long will be the time for me to present my presentation?
Around 20 minutes, Mr. Mampuono.
I cannot hear your voice.
I'm sorry, can you hear
10
me?
minutes or 15 minutes?
20 minutes. 20, hello?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
3 minutes?
20 minutes.
Oh, 20 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, and Pak Guru, Bu Guru, Pak Dosen, Bu Dosen, mahasiswa semuanya, I'm trying to tell about the remote working, the new normal for many. As we know that we quote something that is maybe only our generation that experience this. We can see that a lot of students, a lot of children, maybe they grow in the family, they maybe almost never go to the school, but they suddenly graduate from the elementary school, junior high school. Even I got a nephew that just joined a university. It's been almost 2 years, and he spent almost 4 semesters of just doing everything at home. And as a worker, as special and civil servant in the role of education, quality assurance and central job, I also just mostly stay at home. And when in the normal new normal era, we try to go again to meet in the office, doing some jobs there, but yeah, there are a lot of risks that you have to face. Some of our friends should be doing what's so-called the isolasi mandiri, or personal isolation at home or at the hospital. And several of my friends, teachers and also relatives, they have to face this kind of era, and unluckily they cannot help themselves, and they have to pass away. It's like that. Yeah, I think I have to say my deep condolence for everyone in the world for facing the most tragic things in their life. Now because COVID-19 has become a global pandemic, and it's unclear how long it will last. The entire country is locking down. For Indonesia, we have what's so-called pembatasan berskala besar, or maybe great scale limitation for these social interaction. And then there are a lot of street that is locked down, and it's not a city lockdown, but street, especially campuses like that. And it's of course significantly reduce what so-called everything, the productivity, the effectivity, the economic activity, a lot of things. And the uncertainty around how long this situation will persist increases the complexity of formulating a concise response. And this is very important for the companies, business, especially dealing with the management of the finance, and also how to face the pandemic situation in managing the workload so that the companies, the business can still run like that. So mitigating the risk and vulnerabilities is important. So the business should be proactive in assessing the risk and vulnerability from both an operational and financial standpoint. Operational should be successful and financial should be successful too. And then persisting in this environment requires business to act decisively to mitigate risk and plan for rapid and slow recovery scenarios and associates impacts on liquidity. So we can make a picture of the COVID-19 impact and also the act. If the condition is the high impact, we can go to reposition in high liquidity, and we can also, if the low impact and strengthen position, you can see there in the reposition, closely monitor and discourse, reassess products or service portfolio for short-term gains to the strengthen to top line, reforecast cash flow and model downside scenarios, or develop new growth strategies. This kind of picture or chart, placing the action in priority for the lower impact and the higher impact for high liquidity and low liquidity. And then if we go actually starting from the low liquidity, turn around and then cash focus will be the point. If start from the lowest liquidity, number one is turn around planning and then optimize working capital, right size cost structure, and then implement zero to take control of the crisis in the reforecast liquidity, secure financing and government aid. And then if the focus in the cash is by assess and manage third party gradient and super risk, and then reforecast liquidity, accessibility of the company's operation to meet demand and impact of the lockdown. We can see this kind of picture of the impact of the COVID-19 that the business can do. We can see the overall reduced business operation, liquidity issues, risk of covenant breach, and then refinancing need. Different solution to handle all intensities and crisis impact is stated here. It's rather bit serious for us, and then it takes a lot of time. I think I just give the picture about the management and the level of influence and the role of creditors. And then go to a remote working, forcefully decision taking. As we know that many of us had little choice but to resort to remote working in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. You want or you don't want, that's the productivity of an institution, an entity, a business should run if you want to be collapsed. So, you have to force to make a decision that remote working is, I think, something that you have to be taken up as your decision to make your company, your finance management, also your worker can stay safe to make everything run, at least not going to going in ruin or collapsing. So today is just the day since Google and Apple and Twitter were making headlines by ordering their employees to work from home. But you could not say the same with lots of companies. So if Google, Apple, Twitter, Microsoft, something dealing with the technology, yeah, I think can do a lot of things by, yeah, okay. If we have to face this, we have to face the pandemic era. Yeah, once again, this is the choice. Okay. And we know that beforehand, that working from home is something that is denied. Okay, with the reason that the staff would disengage and productivity that maybe will go dropping down, and then but everything is becomes different because of this pandemic era. And then but we can see there is some evidence just that the opposite is the truth. Something that is denied by IBM, something that is denied by many people before. That yeah, working from home effectively means working more. It's like that. It's unavoidable. Okay, this is the evidence. And in the UK, for example, my employees are repeatedly putting an extra 2 hours a day. It's even longer in the US. This is something objective, but intentionally or unintentionally, if someone wants to have the same productivity between online and offline, they have to add more time. So this is the fact. And then also working from remote area, working from home, working in not the same room with our co-workers is something becoming trends, and it's increased again and again. And maybe every country is trying to spread the vaccines, and then we can see our country in Indonesia, vaccines been spread, and everybody is trying to take the vaccine, but the variety or the variant of the COVID virus is tend to be there are a lot of mutation, and yeah, again we have to stay at home, again we have to work from remote area. So this is a normal trend, and it's getting faster. Maybe long ago, 2005 started here that not many workers in countries working from home, working from remote area, but today everything has changed very dramatically, and we can see that we are free from coronavirus because we've got vaccination. Like maybe the countries like India that they feel that they're very successful in vaccination, but their decision to open everything, especially the social distance, release the social distance and go really normally. It's not a normal thing in pandemic with a social distance and also a mask and then disinfectant, washing hands like that. Go to a real normal, but the impact is very fatal. That is, maybe India has been a country with the, okay, we know that there are 1,300,000,000 people in India, more than that. And then because the people is very, in a very great number, so the impact is very great too. And we have to learn everything from that. Okay. If we go to, okay, pro and contra. If we are discussing remote working, academic and media have been split into opposing camps. It's very normal. The pro camp talk about cutting out commutes. Okay, maybe you go to work, you need a lot of time, you need hours, maybe there's traffic jam, but by working in the remote area, you're connected to internet, and it's no problem with the commuteness, okay? And then increasing the quality of family time and productivity and achieving a better work-life balance. Yeah, this is the opinion of the pro camp, yeah? So there's always pros and contra, and the skeptics or the contra reply that flexibility comes at a cost. As we know that we need the technology, the tools, and also the, okay, maybe the software, the hardware, and also the internet connectivity, something that's connectivity issue that may be problems in many places, especially developing countries, and need a lot of money to build the, something that can make this kind of connectivity better. And they warn about losing social interaction, as we know that we are staying maybe side by side, but our communication is not between the people around us, but we communicate with someone or everyone very far away, yeah? Maybe separated by time and also place that, okay, in hours, even in days, like if I communicate with my friends yeah, we are connected in a group of WhatsApp of learner and communicator of English around the world. And if I say, good morning, guys, and my friends from Brazil will say, good evening, dude, something like that. Yeah. So social interaction, nuance and community, and potentially becoming less productive. That's okay, pros and cons. And this gives us mixed message. Then we need certainty. Okay, let's talk about the risk about remote working. Research highlights that there are additional challenges and difficulties in remote working. And if people don't approach remote working in the right way, the risk making the work lives worse. Okay, we firstly have activity, in remote working, like students, teachers, and students should stay at home and learn everything at home. Is it effective? Can they learn very well from their teacher? About the school and the teacher, the university, they have teachers, they have lecturer, and the lecturer will give the lecture from home. Is it effective? Is the tuition transferred to the student very well? Is it fun? Is it effective? Is it meaningful? There's always things that we have to think about, and there should be a solution for that. Okay, let's talk about always on hours. Well, but digital technology may free people to work remotely in the first place, but it also causes unforeseen problems. Yeah, we can see that staying in front of the laptop or maybe tablet or maybe other gadgets, there's always a radiation from the maybe the light radiation from the electromagnetic waves or something like that. And then this is an issue for the entire workforce, but it is arguably exacerbated by remote working. Okay, I read this from research that 24 hours in 7 days are in a weak work culture didn't happen overnight, or because of coercive managers. And also instead, the perceived division between work and on work is steadily disappeared over time, while few of us were paying attention. That's the problem. Like, okay, I'm giving you a presentation. I may be explaining something or speaking with you, but sometimes there's a connectivity issues and everything lost. It's something like that, and it's not effective. It's like that. So talking about the time, yeah, that spent by the worker remotely. This is a chart from State of Remote Report in 2020 that only 57%, okay, and that working 100%. And then we can see also only 16.5% work in 7 to 99%. And only 10% that work 1 to 25%. 8.5% for working in 51 to 75%, and 8% 26 to 50. Okay, this is just an example of our research, and then there should be work-life balance. It is terms of frequently dropped into an organization that can sound vague and open to the interpretation. According to Anna Cox, Professor of Human-Computer Interaction at UCL, it's mean feeling in control of how you balance the various demands of all aspects of life to enable well-being and avoid illness. It should involve happiness, fulfillment, and job satisfaction. Work-life balance is very important. Maybe you work very hard, extra time, but if you're not satisfied, you're not happy, you don't have any satisfying fulfillment, it's not a balance like that. Okay. Yeah, if we look at this chart about the work-life balance equilibrium. Yeah.
Mr. Mampu, 5 more minutes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Everybody, I think, will choose the high well-being than low well-being. In low boundary control and high boundary control, I think everybody will choose the blue one. You can work very happily without a strict control from your boss or your system, but you can produce something that, okay, job satisfaction and fulfillment and productivity, something like that. Okay, but this is about choices. maybe you're working in a company with a very high control. You have to be adaptable with this kind of system, and you can still do something that make you well-being by choosing the green one. A person with high boundary control and high well-being. Okay, and if we go to, for instance, a red, a person with low boundary control and low well-being. Okay, maybe you can choose your time freely. There's no boss of you that 24 hours, 7 days in a week, controlling you, looking at you, staring you, like that. But if low well-being, I think this is not a choice. And then a person with high boundary control and low well-being, I think this is the worst thing. You are in the position of low well-being, and you are working like in a jail. It's like that. So this is a chart that you can choose. You can you in here is the company and also the worker that discussing something to make a solution about the remote working. And then this take a break. Taking a break is something very important, because sometimes we are working outside of or beyond the control of the boss, or maybe the control or uncontrol, strict or unstrict, like that. Taking a break is very important. This is vital to establish flexible social ritual around taking short break throughout the workday. But workers will gradually lose these healthy habits unless companies create work culture and clear policies that encourage staff to take breaks. Okay, so as a company manager, as a company owner, this is always there should be what so-called policies to give the time for break for the worker, so that we can work and live more healthily. And then the government need to take action to tackle this rapid social shift, which should not be left to individual workers to navigate. This should be a policy of the stakeholder from the companies and also the government, so that it could be a law that is what so-called obeyed by the entities to carry it out, to be carried out. Slide. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mampuono, and that was that's such interesting presentation and question. And for all the speakers, Dr. Gribincea, also Professor Gonca, Mrs. Ratih, and Mr. Mampuono, thank you so much and for the presentation. And now we will go to the next session. It's a question and answer. We already collect the question, and if there's people or the audience wants to ask to the speakers directly, you can raise your hand and we will and you can ask them directly. So if you want to raise your if you want to ask the speakers directly, you can raise your hand. While wait the audience to raise if there's audience want to ask directly, we will there's a question that we already have. It's for me prep. Okay, we have some for Dr. Gribincea. We have a question for Dr. Gribincea first. Dr. Gribincea, are you still with us?
I think she's
Okay.
not with us.
Yeah, sis. Okay, I think sis not there. So we have a question for you too,
She's
Professor
with us.
Keceteli.
She's with us.
Oh, sis. Oh.
Yeah, I
Professor
could not
Gribincea?
unmute myself. Yeah, please, I'm ready for the answers and questions.
Okay, okay. Okay, so we have a question. What is the suitable job for the students, undergrad students after the pandemic?
If it's for Republic of Moldova, in Moldova, we have best paid jobs in the IT and also in the sectors that have value added products. So we are talking, but the less paid it's in the agricultural sector and also in the sectors that have very low paid, as for example, what else? The construction, yeah, the agriculture and construction. And the best paid, it's about the IT and the bioeconomics and everything that's related with the eco, because it's a trend nowadays in the Republic of Moldova.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Doctor. So we have another question for Professor Keceteli. It's from Ms. Ratih. It's our stress to face our problems during pandemic, because we have to change our life from normal become new normal, so that we can survive and never surrender with the situation.
Okay, it's a very good question. I think there are similar questions to that comes to mind. And first of all, you should find out what the real stress root cause or I can say main reason to your stress. For example, it can be a change in your home and business environment. This is a stress, and unemployment, poverty, to be broken or to be broke, illness. These are all bring stresses, or the main home life can bring the stress. I believe it all will be solved if you are alive, and if you can get the main reason to your stress, then you can get your solution. You should have your list your options to solve these obstacles. Which one you have, what kind of obstacles you have. So try to find out these solutions. It can be like this. To cooperate with your friends to build a new business, or working together to solve that problem with your family, or with your wife or husband. You can also improve your skills for it. So these are some options after COVID-19, because the normal will be the new normal now. Not only for the future. Now is this, we are working with this new normal. That's why we need to get improved ourselves and get these new skills. As you asked, for example, the new jobs, what kind of jobs we need to fulfill. The technological jobs, like Dr. Joseph mentioned, the artificial intelligence, for example, or some software jobs can some options to you to give the ideas, because these brings all global work to you. If you have enough language to share your knowledge, you can just find a way to work globally. So this can be some options. So these are the new normal. So we need to go forward, and we need to, I believe, if we are alive, we are lucky. So that's the point, and you just walk further on.
Okay, thank you, Professor. We have someone who wants to ask directly. So okay, go ahead.
I think there is one more question. I've seen it. How long do you think about this pandemic will over? The economic, especially for SMEs, start to recover again. So for me, my idea, the pandemic ends in 1.5 years. But we can see the variants, and these variants appear. Maybe these variants will have an effect for 1 or 2 more years. But I believe SMEs have already entered the crisis management from the beginning of the COVID-19 outbreak. So yes, I believe they are having a hard time. In Turkey, we are having a hard time for SMEs. In all around the world, I believe they have a hard time for SMEs. So why? Because they are not ready, and even not ready for the information age. That's the point. And if they were ready for that kind of situation, they can solve quite easy. But now they have some information, and they have some knowledge about it, and they should think about new capabilities and adapt their practices to this new system, the new type of business life, new type of working conditions, new type of family conditions. Because while during your children is studying, you should work remotely from home. It's not easy to do this kind of situation. So studies should be carried out to address the new talent needs in vocational education, and I believe you will fulfill some needs for this new talent needs. And another thing to make this over, sometimes there's a need of psychological support. This may also be required. So maybe you can get some type of psychological support also. But the SMEs are, I think, recovering. Has started to recover. Not again, still recovering.
Okay, thank you, Professor. And we have one of the audience want to ask to the speakers directly. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I'm Christian. I'm a student from STEKOM University. Dr. Gribincea, I want to ask you, do you have any finance advice for startup business after pandemic?
Do you want to start a business?
Do you have any finance advice for startup business after pandemic?
Startup business. You want to build a startup business. Find a niche market. Find a niche product.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you have any what kind of product that needs, like you said?
Some software can be a niche, because For example, we have some companies, e-market companies, I mean the retailing companies, they have just done a good job for the fast delivery, for example. You order one thing and then you can just get your order in half an hour time in Turkey. This was an option for that kind of company. So you need to just search what is needed in your surroundings. This is a kind of thing like that. So startup means you can be a small one, but you can just improve yourself if there is a real need all around the city or country or the world.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the answer.
Okay. Okay, it's that is Christian. Okay,
No.
thank you, Christian. Again, thank you, Professor. Okay, we have a question for Dr. Gribincea. So the question is, what is the if the pandemic still going on in 1 or next 2 years? So do you have any advice, or what kind of saving or investation that you prefer or recommend to us? Doctor?
Anissa, you should repeat. Corina,
Okay.
this question is for you.
Dr.
Yes.
Dr. Corina. Okay, I will repeat the question. Okay, so the question is, do you have any suggestion or recommendation on saving or investation since the pandemic are still, going on in 1 or next 2 years?
Could you repeat one more time?
Okay, so do you have any recommendation on savings or investation in the pandemic era?
Investment. Savings.
Yes.
Yeah. So firstly, we need, one more time, as Professor Gonca said, we need to adapt to the new conditions. So we need psychologically understand, but we cannot overpass just 1 or 2 years. So it can take a longer period to adapt. And of course, if we're talking, for example, the SMEs from the Republic of Moldova, they already adapted, they already used all the measures to overcome the pandemic area. And of course, they used, for example, if we are talking about the state, so they related the measures in order that the activity of companies can overcome the pandemic area with some support from the state. And if we're talking about the simple people, of course, during the pandemic area, of course, they many of them just lost their jobs because our economy mostly it's based on the service sector, so it was very affected by this. And of course, mostly as a recommendations, we need to strengthen our force worldwide at the international level in order to overpass this situation, because with efforts at the international level, of course, will overpass quicker at the national level.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. What about the, the like Bitcoin or things, or trading, something like that? Do you recommend this kind of investment?
The connection is very poor, so I'm sorry.
Bitcoin, she is asking for Bitcoins. Will they buy Bitcoins, or what should be done?
In fact, in the Republic of Moldova, we are having the Bitcoin, but it's not so popular because still the people it's not interested to invest in this. But of course, we have huge questions about how we can develop these tools, because we have also some alternative measures that can be also used. But in fact, of course, we need to focus on different ways of payment.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Doctor. I think we have another live question. Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Rizky, do you want to ask directly? Okay. Go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Your voice a little bit, you need to.
Hello? Is it okay?
Professor Gonca, can you hear?
I cannot hear your voice
Professor Gonca, can you
clearly.
hear?
If you
Can you add your volume
Can you hear me?
higher? Can you?
no
I'm
voice.
sorry, no voice. I'm so sorry.
How about now?
It is a little bit better.
I'm sorry. Maybe my microphone is broken. I'm sorry. But I'll try to speak as loud as possible. Okay. So my question is SMEs is one of the sector in business that hit really hard by the pandemic. So what is the best way to prepare ourselves as an entrepreneur who own SMEs in this post-pandemic condition? Because the business sector will never be the same as the pre-pandemic, and how to balance our work life and how to cope with the post-pandemic. Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
I think cooperation or working together with your friends, because there are a lot of talented people around you, and there are some strengths and weaknesses on you, and maybe you can fulfill your strengths and weaknesses together. So cooperation can be a very good option for this kind of situation. So it's better to cooperate with your colleagues, with your friends, or with someone. For example, you can know a good financial, you can have a good financial brain, I can say, or knowledge. Some of your friends can have a good another value, so you can connect all these things together, and you can build it by this kind of cooperation. So, and also improve your skills. For example, if you can do software job, you will follow to do software job. You should learn new languages on this software, because and the most used languages can be an option, but also you can just check what will be in the future, and some of the I will write it down here. Gartner's hype can show a lot of sector. Let me about what will be going on near future on these technologies. So maybe you can check these hypes, and you can follow it. And I really recommend check your surroundings, because there is a huge need of something else during the collection of the garbage, during the problem of the traffic, during the checking the children at home. There will be several things to be done in this world with this new technology.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay,
My pleasure.
thank you. Thank you, Rizky. Mr. Rizky, we have a question for Mrs. Ratih. So, Mrs. Ratih.
Okay. Oh, Miss, could you tell me the question again, please, Miss Anissa? Okay, I have to answer the question from from Awal, right? Yeah. Okay. Awal would like to know the work life after the post COVID. Yeah. Okay, Awal. Here's the thing. Post COVID, that we cannot go back to our life before we have the pandemic, right? And like I told you before in my presentation, the post pandemic that we will have the hybrid model, which is the combination between the work from home and shifting model. And we surely have our healthy life, because right now we are playing a healthy life since we are facing physical distancing, social distancing, etc. And we are consuming vitamin to prevent us from getting infected by the COVID-19. And later on, I think there are possibility that satellite offices will be open, yeah, on the world, instead of a magnificent building with floors and then with a bunch of budget for the company. And also maybe the HR department will face a great problem facing how to create, how to build the teamwork, since when we are playing the hybrid work of model, work from home and sitting, then worker will rarely meet in person. So it's going to be a little bit hard for HR department to build the teamwork, but it is not the problem. We believe that the acceleration, the maximizing of technology and internet will cope with that. So the bottom line is that we cannot go back to the work life before COVID, but we will have a better life with human innovation to overcome this problem. Thank you. Go back to Ms. Anissa.
Your voice.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Ratih. We have another audience who wants to ask directly. Let me.
Dida wants to ask a question.
Okay, Dida. Okay, I'm so sorry. Wait a second. Let me unmute. I already asked you to unmute. Can you unmute? Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Prof. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dida. I'm from Semarang, especially STEKOM University, Universitas STEKOM, or yeah. Okay, this is a good, what is it? It's a good material. It's a good topic today about how to maintain business finance management in pandemic. Yeah, as you know, actually that this behind me, this my one of my business. I run English cafe, visual cafe, but have what is it, a new concept that English institution with a cafe concept. Yeah, And as we know that pandemic era makes us think hard. I think hard how to maintain our business growing up and sustainability. Even in my business, we have to meet a lot of or many people or a lot of students. Yeah. Maybe, Prof, you have any suggestion or how we could maintain our business management to keep up and make growing up and make our business sustainability. Yeah, you can see behind me this not many people who visit our cafe. Even before pandemic, a lot of people come here maybe to have a hangout, to have a workshop at cafe or a seminar. But now, maybe is there any strategy or maintenance or make business or business sustainability? Thank you.
Okay, Dida, you have a good job. You have, yes, we have the same problems for the coffee shop owners or restaurants or some barber shops and such kind of things. So we have the same situation like you, but you have a good, nice place to make it to make the development and to make the sustainability. You want to make a sustainable coffee shop, as far as I see. And people are, for me, for example, the hygiene situations are so important for the customers. And maybe you should put some signs of that you are hygienic, and the problems from hygiene would not come from your coffee shop. The situation for us, for example, the government banned some coffee shops in Turkey for about 1.5 months. So this can be another obstacle. Maybe you have an open coffee shop, as far as I can see. So maybe you can just divide some places, make larger places to sit there. So many people really wants to go to a coffee shop. Many wants to be free from to go outside, but this problem of getting the COVID-19 makes the people stand. But if you make some redecoration, I can say, and make larger places, to leave larger places to your customers, I think it can be helpful for you.
Yeah, thank you. Actually, that we have large cafe. We have two.
I mean, for example, the people who are sitting, for example, if the 4 people are sitting one chair, one table, maybe the next table will be off and the other table will be full. So this makes a social distance. Maybe you can just prepare a social distance way to serve your customers.
Yeah, we do that. Actually, we do that. One table consists of only 2 persons, and with different state. Yeah, we have to do that, and there are some signs. To have a social distance. Yeah, but
and you can also get a service to homes if there are closer places to serve the homes the coffee. Maybe.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it is like take away?
Like,
yeah,
yes,
take away.
Yes, take away. Not
away.
the take away. Some kind come and take away, and some you can also just get the coffee to their homes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Actually, I have two business in one place, Prof. This English cafe to support cafe shop, and this cafe we built English institution where many students can learning English, can learning subject in this cafe. So we set up this like class, but this like outdoor natural concept. And yeah, okay, the coffee shop I think is already sold. We can do takeaway concept. Okay, what about the English institution? So many actually that many students want to hang out at cafe while learning English. So we have to, yeah, what should we do?
Good idea.
Keep this
Follow it and spread it. And you are now spreading that you are giving also English. So there is 144 people who are watching this stream alive. So many people heard now that you are having a coffee closer to the STEKOM University.
Okay. Yeah, okay, thank you. Prof.
Marketing is a good way to do. Okay.
Have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Dita. I'm sorry, Mrs. or Miss Dita, for the question. And Mr. Mampuono, we have a question for you. Mr. Mampuono, Mr. Mampu, are you still with us? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Miss.
So, what is the question, Lisa?
For Mr. Mampuono, how to teach our parents who live with technology so that the next one until 2 years of the pandemic will not miss technology? Oh, sorry, technology.
Okay, I think the utility of technology, or how the literacy in using technology, is very important for us. Firstly, is from the school and teachers, because as you know that there are still a lot of teachers still having a technology gap, especially how to conduct a remote learning that can serve the student, that they can learn significantly, happily, and they can cope everything that the subject that is transferred by the teachers very well. It's like that. And so you know that from the real fact, especially in our country, I cannot tell other countries because I can see around us, especially the use of social media like WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the social media 2000, something like that. Or maybe in this very great number of population, and what we can say that WhatsApp's a billion people, social media is like that. As we know that WhatsApp is a social media, it's especially used for asynchronous communication, but mostly it's used by teachers to conduct learning. And to tell you the truth, that many times happens in, of course, I have children, they have assignments in their school from their teachers that, for instance, like this, the teacher sent a picture of a what's so-called student worksheet or LKS. And then, okay, the student at home will during the exercise, filling in maybe the form or maybe writing something as the easy, and then after this, the teacher asks the student to print the student worksheet. The student have to write down everything on the worksheet, and then they have to copy that. I mean, and they have to take a picture of that, and it's sent to the teacher. Because they use WhatsApp. But as you know that technology is very close to our lives, especially, you know, that there are a lot of free technology that can be accessed by the teachers. Okay, look at, for instance, Google Classroom, the free thing, or maybe Microsoft Teams, or maybe Schoology, or maybe other learning management system, or maybe the premium one like Persona A2A class, something like that, that serve the customer, serve the user with very high and high touching technology that's supported with the learning with higher order thinking skills like that. But as I mentioned firstly, that mostly our teachers using WhatsApp, something that is used for us asynchronous communication. Little of teachers, because maybe the school is the school with the advanced management, using the free learning management system like Google Classroom, that's supported with some features of giving the assignments, giving the question quizzes, something like that. But it's a very small number. It's very few of teachers using this, and this is our homework. If you ask about the literacy or the understanding of students, I mean parents at home, of using technology to support their children in learning, I think the most important or the point, the first priority, according to me, is just how the school, how the teachers using the technology in the tuition, the learning activity, and the material can be transferred into the student very well. So the most important is the technology that is mastered by the teachers and the technology that can be used by the students. I think if we are talking about parents and students, which one is more literate in using technology? Students will be better in using technology. So parents maybe give the facilities, support with the motivation, supervising them, and then also staying close to them, give them support, something like that. And they need to have understanding in how to use technology better. But once again, teachers is number one. So maybe this is a very good chance for me to ask the teachers, please, WhatsApp, although maybe you can make this as asynchronous and asynchronous, you can make the time schedule, something like that, but I think it's better if you use WhatsApp as the supporting application, not the main application. The main application is using learning management system or learning content management system to manage your class. So you can serve the students very well. So although maybe we are in the era of pandemic, we can still at least give or serve the students with at least the better service so that they can learn more meaningfully. It's like that. It's a very long answer.
Thank you, Mr. Mampuono. Thank you so much. That's such a detailed answer. So it's time to, it's already at the end of the event, the webinar. Okay, and I have to close the event. Love to say thank you to all the speakers, to the
Can we
opening
take
speech,
a
our rector,
full
Dr. Joseph.
picture of everybody together? Take a picture
Okay.
from Zoom.
Okay, you want to take the picture. Okay, we already have the documents for, and I will send it to you.
Okay.
Okay. Wait. Thank you. Okay, I think we already. Do you already took the photo?
Which one?
Professor?
Yes. I took the photo.
Yes.
Thank you. One more time. Moment.
Okay, one more time.
Moment, because I need to send first, because otherwise there's a. Okay. Corina, can you show yourself? And okay, one more time. Okay, thank you. One more time. Sorry, Ratih. Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Miss Professor Gonca and Ibu Gribincea, Corina. Thank you very much. We meet virtually here. It's very nice if we can meet.
Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
Okay, so thank you.
Terima kasih Bu Gonca. Terima kasih Bu Corina. That's how we say thank you.
Terima kasih Bu Mampuono. Terima kasih.
Sama. The same as you. Sama is same.
Sama. Terima kasih Anissa. Terima kasih Ratih. Terima kasih Novita. Terima kasih Corina.
How is to say terima kasih in Turkey? I just know Nasılsınız and then iyiyim, something like that, because I have a lot of friends from Turkey.
Short one. Terima kasih. One more time in English.
Terima kasih, thank you. Terima kasih, thank you in English, but in Turkey, what is that?
Teşekkür ederim. It is a long way. Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkür ederim.
Teşekkürler.
I know. It's in Indonesian, there's tasyakuran.
Teşekküren.
Yeah, teşekküren.
Yes, teşekküren.
It's like, I don't know exactly in Corina's language, but it's terima kasih in Tagalog, Philippine is salamat. It's like that. Salamat.
Yeah. Selam is in Turkey.
Yeah, it's salam. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Teşekkürler. You're welcome.
Salamat.
Yeah, matur nuwun. Matur nuwun kata. Haturusun kata.
Sasa.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mampuono. Thank you, Professor Jateng. Thank you, Dr. Gribincea. And I hope after the pandemic we can meet face to face, eye to eye. I hope we can all meet together after the pandemic.
Let's go to Istanbul.
Why not? Yes, you can. Please, you can come to Istanbul. We will be very glad.
We are waiting for you in Bali.
Inshallah. I will come, I hope. Inshallah.
Corina, go to Bali, Corina.
Okay.
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 Bye-bye.
Okay,
I'm
thank you.
leaving now.
Thank you for
Bye.
all the speakers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for to be here, and I apologize to all the mistake or the problem in this webinar. See you on the another webinar, and stay healthy. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.